Very good morning. It's Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. That would be me. We're live both on the East Coast and the West Coast in the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area, and also Southern California, Los Angeles, and San Diego. Now on LACA. Phone lines are open at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, dish it.
You know, Ken, it's not all looking all that bad for this weekend, considering how there was supposed to be a little bit of snow, which has changed to rain, which now may be so far south that it may not even impact New Jersey at all. There are some clear skies this morning across most of the East Coast, including the Garden State, a little further down south. Some rain out west, a little bit of that cloud cover continues, with some rain developing all across the LA area. So Southern California dealing with your fair share of rain. But there's another brief round of cold ahead that comes in just in time for Friday, really as early as tomorrow, and that will allow for those temperatures to be anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees below what we're used to before another quick shot of rain comes in later on. So it's all about the cold front doing its job, cooling us down just a little bit into the next few days before we get some milder weather this weekend. We'll tell you all about that milder trend and the warm up for next week. That's coming up, Ken, in just a few minutes.
We appreciate that. Thank you very much, Mike. Looking at the temp, it's 30. Wow. Am I seeing that right? 33 degrees in Trenton, and it's 34 degrees now in northern New Jersey, 31 degrees in Cape May. It's like normal, kind of, sort of. That's a good thing. Over to Los Angeles, it tells us, oh, what is this? A flood advisory in effect? As Mike was saying, they were expecting a lot of rain, but they're not telling me temperatures. 58 degrees. There we go. Now we have a temperature in Los Angeles. We'll take 58 degrees. And it is 61 degrees in beautiful San Diego. By the way, if you have ever ventured out west, hopefully you've visited San Diego. It's one of the most beautiful places in the entirety of the United States. What we have right now in the Northeast, very little in terms of traffic. We have delays on the Garden State Parkway southbound. Southbound from south of exit 149, Bloomfield, to south of exit 147, which is Clinton Avenue, East Orange. All lanes are open, but there's a 2-hour delay, and that is all due to volume and nothing more. No accidents or anything there. We look over at the delays. We have the pockets of volume on the New Jersey Turnpike, inner and outer roadways northbound. From north of Interchange 12, Carteret Rawway, Linden, to south of Interchange 13A, which is Newark Liberty International Airport. About a 4-mile delay there again. That is entirely due to volume, not due to any specific incident. And then we have our Hudson River crossings. The Harlem, I keep doing that, the Holland Tunnel. I keep thinking Harlem, Hudson, New Haven lines for those on the East Coast. Those are the train lines. The Holland Tunnel right now is about 15 to 20 minutes into Manhattan. It's 25 minutes at the Lincoln. We look at the GWB upper and lower levels. Look at that. Lower level is a little bit heavier than the upper, but they're both moving. We're told 25 to 30 and for either one at this point. We go over to the beautiful west coast of the United States. And what do we have? A traffic collision now in Baldwin Park. This is by State Route 57 at South Sunset Crossing Road. Another collision, no injuries though, and this is in Newhall at Escondido Canyon Road. Eventually I'll learn all the pronunciations, excuse me, by State Route 14. And we have a spin out reported on I-10 West at Etiwanda Avenue and INCC. Help me out with what that's an abbreviation for. That's a town somewhere in Southern California. INCC. Somebody call in and let us know what that means. It is now 4 minutes past the hour. A man has been detained for questioning and then released in connection with the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. The unidentified man was stopped during a traffic stop in Rio Rico. That's about an hour south of Tucson, about 12 miles north of the Mexico border. The development follows the release of video of an armed, masked person on the doorstep of the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. Not immediately clear if authorities have determined whether Nancy is alive or unharmed. We can only hope for their sake. The major development comes more than a week after she vanished. She was last seen January 31st when she was dropped off at her Tucson home by her son-in-law following a dinner with him and her daughter, Annie. 4 minutes past the hour right now at the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina. A number of athletes' medals have been breaking or really just detaching from their ribbons during post-event celebrations. That should not happen with an Olympic gold medal. Never happened before in history. U.S. gold medalist Breezy Johnson warned fellow competitors, hey, don't jump in them after her medal came off while she was celebrating. Other athletes, including U.S. figure skater Alyssa Liu, also showed medals that separated from their ribbons. Olympic organizers say they're looking into it, trying to figure out what the problem is, and hopefully they'll fix it before the end of the Olympics. 5 minutes past. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons and CBP Commissioner Rodney Scott are scheduled to testify before Congress for the first time since 2 fatal shootings involving federal law enforcement officers in Minneapolis. The appearances come as many on the left are demanding more oversight, the testimony being held as lawmakers debate Department of Homeland Security funding. Republicans are entering the 2026 midterm election cycle with a lot of cash. In fact, a lot more on hand than the Democrats have, thanks to massive fundraising efforts and a huge swing in registered voters from the left to the right. As Democrats have been losing registered voters, Republicans have been gaining them even in greater numbers by the millions. Democrats continue to face challenges in matching that fundraising, though in some key races in blue states, Democrats remain very competitive. The financial gap is shaping strategies for both parties as they prepare for House and Senate battles come November. And speaking of elections, former Democrat Congressman Tom Malinowski has conceded defeat in New Jersey's Democratic primary to left-wing challenger Analilia Mejia, who squeaked by with just over 800 votes in the district. Mejia was backed by the socialist wing of the party, including Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The seat in the 11th congressional district opened up after now Governor Mikey Sherrill left to run for the statewide office. Republicans look at Mejia's win, though, as a very good thing because she can be painted as an extremist in a district that is actually very moderate. It has gone back and forth between Republicans and Democrats, and when either has held a seat, they've been a moderate Republican or a moderate Democrat. A Republican, Joe Hathaway, is the person on the right who will face Mejia come the fall election. He is the mayor of Randolph, and he ran unopposed in the GOP primary. 7:07 on the East Coast, 4:07 on the West. A large pride flag was removed from the Stonewall National Monument in Greenwich Village, prompting immediate accusations of anti-LGBT attitudes. Now, let's just clarify. If you've never been there, there is Stonewall, which is the iconic bar where the riots began in the 1960s that began the push for gay rights in America. Directly across the street from Stonewall is the Stonewall Memorial. The memorial is public property. It is a national landmark museum, not a physical museum, but if you will, an iconic place to mark where the riots began. That's owned by the U.S. government. That's where they're saying the flags can only be U.S. flags. And that's the case at every national park in America. They only fly U.S. flags, not the state flag, not the don't tread on me flag. It's just the American flag. For years, gay activists in the city, in Manhattan, have gotten away with putting up pride, like tons of, not just one pride flag, hundreds of them. Get it, right? You get it too. But the point is having one rule across all the national parks, and that wasn't the case. Every other national park then should be able to fly whatever flag they want if you could put the pride flag there. Now, Stonewall Bar can put whatever they want. They're a private organization. So it's not Stonewall Bar that's being told they can't do this. It is the national park across the street. You could still have plaques to gay rights and pride. It has nothing to do with that. It's just a matter of only the U.S. flag is going to be allowed to be put there. Activists are saying they're going to put the pride flag back up. If they do that, they're going to be arrested. So don't do that. Keep the pride flag. You can put it everywhere else within a 10-foot vicinity. You just can't put it on the federal property because that is a national park. It's as simple as that. But of course, the two political sides are looking for anything at this point to get outraged at each other over it. It's getting to a point where I'm getting tired of it. I don't know about you. 9 minutes past the hour, nearly 6 in 10 of all Americans predicted that they would have high quality lives over the next 5 years. That sounds like a great statistic, right? But many in mainstream media are reporting this Gallup poll as evidence that Americans are miserable. 6 in 10 Americans happy, and they call that miserable. I don't know about you, what universe they're in. They're citing the fact that the number of optimistic Americans fell by about 5 or 6 points over the last 5 years, but it remains at nearly 60%. That's 6 in 10. We can't get 6 in 10 of Americans to agree on what toilet paper to use. Considering the daily drumbeat of negative news from the big three networks, it's a wonder anybody's optimistic about anything. If this isn't propaganda spin, I don't know what is. It reminds me, if you're of an age, I'm 58, of the very early 1960s Soviet newspaper headline when there were only two people competing and one was an American and the American won. So it should be first place America, second place Soviet Union, right? But the Soviet headline read, Soviet athlete comes in second, American finishes next to last. And so instead of saying the American finished first, the American was next to last. And they said the Soviet was second. Well, there are only two. They forgot to mention there are only two positions, first or second. But that's propaganda. You could take any detail and spin it to make it sound good or bad. And shame on the people at Gallup organization for trying to make 6 in 10 Americans with a positive outlook look like a downer on America. That's really pathetic. Sorry. It's 11 minutes past. A new sustainability study by the global compliance company ENHESA and HESA ranks New Jersey as the 15th most environmentally sustainable state in the U.S. The ranking looked at emissions, electric vehicle use, recycling, energy consumption, and waste metrics. New Jersey scored especially high in recycling. We're number 4 nationally. And emissions, number 7. California topped the list overall. Congratulations to our West Coast buddies. And neighboring New York came in 8th. That beat New Jersey. But then again, both California and New Jersey, their largest cities are strewn with homeless, garbage piles, and smog. So how did that happen? And you know what day this is? This is National Get Out Your Guitar Day. It celebrates the joy of playing the guitar and is meant to encourage people to pick up the Git box, pick up your instrument, whether you are a beginner or an experienced player. It's a popular day for sharing performances both in person and online, learning new songs, or simply enjoying the sounds of guitar. It is 13 minutes past the hour. When we come back, watch out for a rise in romance scams. We will explain. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the weather near you when we return. You are watching Mornings with Ken Rosato, covering the East Coast and the West Coast. Stream daily on ONNJ.com, ONLACA.com, Roku, Fire TV, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, Facebook, X, and stream live on Local Now, Substack, Rumble, and Twitch. We're coming right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Wednesday, 15 minutes past the hour. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
So, Mike, I guess the word of the day is moderating, right? Because we have temperatures up to the 30s in the New York, New Jersey area, which is fabulous. We have temperatures down to the upper 50s in Southern California. I mean, they were hitting highs in the 80s, which is unusual for this time of
That'd
year,
be
even for
nice.
them.
Right.
And even
Yeah.
South Florida is up where it usually is in the 60s. So it seems like we're starting to return to normal.
We are. There's this warming trend, not just for the Northeast, it's really for the entire country. That'll bring our highs well above average into next week. So drier trends, nicer trends now for you in LA, dealing with a lot of rain this morning. But out east, we enjoy the clear sky that'll be around for most of today, get to dry out a little bit and warm up as well. I think it's one of the milder days this week before a little bit of cooler weather comes back in later on tonight into tomorrow. So even though we had some of the coldest air over the weekend, now we start to see a little moderation. Still, it's chilly with afternoon highs just struggling to make it out of the 30s. Look at this warmer trend that takes over for most of the country. Still a bit below average for the rest of this week there across the east, but with the west coast seeing some wet weather with that little dip in the jet stream, likely see a cooler trend until the warm up returns next week. Have to take a check out east, far east, over toward the Olympics, where you have all of the clear sky that's given way to cloud cover the last few days. Even if you've been watching some of the ski slopes out there, some of the ski jumping, the visibility has been very low with that light snow falling, and even down in the basin in the valley there in Milan, just another quarter of an inch of rain falling. So all those blue skies from earlier this week likely stays rather gray. Now, for the rest of this week, it stays on the wetter side, especially with some of that rain coming in out west, but out east, I think we're pretty dry going into tomorrow as well as the weekend. Just a few extra clouds for Saturday and Sunday. And look at this rain system that works its way just off to the south, completely missing us, even the tip of New Jersey. So I think we'll dodge another bullet and enjoy the clear sky headed into this weekend. But there's more steady rain taking over out west, and that's what's prompting those flooding alerts out in Southern California. We'll talk more about that with your futurecast for LA coming up in our next weather update, Ken.
All right, Mike, let me ask you something. Do we have a lot of rain in Los Angeles right now?
Yeah, much more than they're used to. Yes.
All right. So, I mean, like right now it's happening, or there's a reason I ask you, and it has to do with traffic.
Yes, right now. Yes.
All right. So clearly they're not used to rain in Southern California. They just don't get
No.
it, right? They don't get rain a lot. And normally at this hour, it's only 4:18 in the morning. Usually at this hour, there is nothing to report in terms of
Okay.
traffic. You see that list? Can you make that out?
List. I can.
It's about 20 accidents in Southern
Yeah.
California. This is all from CHP, California Highway Patrol. This never, in the time that we've been doing California, it's been about 8 weeks, 7 weeks. We have never had this many accidents. So I'm going to start, usually we start on the East Coast with accidents. I'm going to start on the West Coast right now because there's very little, almost nothing happening here. This is weird. Weird for us.
I mean, not only
Okay,
weird, this is a culture that people call their car dealerships that asking is, can their car get wet? Like, yeah, of course your car can get wet, but they're not used to rain. So yeah, there's a lot of water out there.
So I'm counting about 17, 18 accidents right now.
Wow.
So I'm going to go through them. This is Southern California. Here's a test of our West Coast channel on LACA. So here we go. We will do East Coast in a minute, everybody. Let's start on the West. Thank you, Mike. By the way, it's 31 degrees in Trenton. So we're right at the freezing line. Be careful for ice because Pam, our director, found a lot of ice on the roadway today. All right, let's start with, this is in Santa Fe Springs. We have a traffic collision on Route 60 at Azusa Avenue. Also Santa Fe Springs. There's something about a mile past that. Same. It's on Azusa Avenue, but this is South Azusa, another accident. In Baldwin Park, there's a traffic collision at Kellogg Hill and the 10. Also on the 10, there's a collision at Holt Avenue off-ramp in Baldwin Park. We got another one on Baldwin Park. This is at Route, at Route 57 at South Sunset Crossing. And Escondido Canyon Road at Route 14, we have an accident in Newhall. We have one in Baldwin Park at Route 57 at Diamond Bar Boulevard off ramp, and another one on the 105. This is in South LA. Look, I could go on for an hour. Just be careful if it's because it's raining now, as Mike said, in Southern California. There are tons of accidents. I have not seen that, so be very careful. To the East Coast, we have a crash and fuel spill, Lyle King Street northbound by West Bay Avenue in Elizabeth. The right lane is blocked. And we have a disabled bus on Lindbergh Road northbound approaching Brewster Road in Newark. The right lane is closed there. Again, another one of those alerts that happens this time of year from time to time. The major airports are reporting their long-term parking lots are all at 95 to 100% capacity. So if you want to drive to an airport, you better have a reserved parking space in the airport lot or one of the adjacent satellite lots. Go online and reserve it, or else you may be SOL. You'll show up and you won't have a place to park your car. Okay, let's look at the Holland and Hudson. I should say the Holland and Lincoln tunnels. They are both at 15 to 20 minutes in. GWB upper and lower levels right now as we look across the Hudson. That is bumper to bumper. 45 minutes upper level on the right, lower level on the left. So definitely want to give yourselves extra travel time as you head out. It is now 21 minutes past, and with Valentine's Day right around the corner, it's Saturday, you know. Many people are heading online to find a connection, but there's also been a rise in romance scams. Gary Orenstein is the Chief Customer Officer at Bitwarden, and he's here to explain how these scams work. We say good morning, Gary. Thank you for your patience with all our traffic reports that we had here.
Good morning. It's important to stay safe, so no problem.
Amen to that. But it's important to stay safe online too, and in these scams to look out for. So what are romance scams and pig butchering? What is a pig butchering scheme?
Well, let's talk about romance scams in general and remember that people are not after romance, they're after money. And the pig butchering concept comes from a strategy that some scammers will use to build a relationship over a long period of time, only at the end to fleece their victims from money that maybe they kept in a bank account and transferred over, or crypto that they may have transferred over. So the idea is that you're building that relationship with somebody, but ultimately you're going to take them down and try to rob them of cash or other assets.
So, I'm assuming that they use dating apps because people are particularly vulnerable in that case. They can get suckered in with the right words, and immediately all their logic goes out the window because they think they're falling in love.
Yes, and so you do have to remember that while there are some people who are legitimately seeking love and relationships and so forth online, there are unfortunately a lot of people who are just out there seeking money and using the emotions and the vulnerability and the excitement and all of that comes in the elements of a dating relationship. So it's really important to be careful, particularly in a time like now when romance scams can spike during a season of love around Valentine's Day or other major holidays.
So the old adage of it, if it seems too good to be true, it might very well be in this case. And
it might very well be.
Right. I mean, like, when the buxom blonde of whatever age says, "Oh, Ken, you're just the most stunning man I've ever seen in my life." I mean, even I don't think that. Then I go, yeah, whatever. Is it true that using your cell phone can make the scams even more difficult to detect?
Well, one thing about using a mobile phone that's different from when you're using a laptop or a desktop and a full browser is you can't do things like hover over certain things. You can't hover over a website URL and see, is that the website URL I'm supposed to go to? For example, if somebody emails you something, or you can't hover and over and say, is that email the actual email, or is somebody doing some trickery and creating something that looks like that email, or maybe I can't see. So if you are on your phone and you see something that's enticing, you might just pause, trust your instincts. If you see something unusual, pause, take a deep breath, protect yourself, and maybe you can check it out again when you're at a laptop or a computer.
Interesting. And we talk about AI a lot, especially on this broadcast. How is AI helping scammers to appear even more convincing?
Yeah, unfortunately, AI is giving everybody, but including the scammers, the ability to create much more realistic communications, much more realistic, and of course, fake imagery sometimes. Much more personalization, AI can do research on behalf of the scammers to understand things in your personal life that you may have posted online that they can then use against you. So particularly in the case of romance and dating apps, AI has meant that we now have to have a heightened sense of alertness should anything smell or seem just a little bit off.
So what are some of the things that might be off? Like what should somebody really be looking out for, some of the red flags?
Sure. So keep in mind that the telltale red flag at the end of any of these romance stories is losing money. So as soon as there's any discussion about money, whether that's helping me out with a sick relative or some kind of emergency that I'm facing, these are people that you may have built a relationship with online over the course of months. They're trying to get you, they are professionals at getting you to trust them. They're then going to ask you as soon as there's money in the conversation. That's a big, big red flag. Another big red flag is let's move this conversation elsewhere. So if you were having a conversation about going to meet for a cup of coffee with somebody on a particular social media or dating app, and they say, let's move this conversation elsewhere, well, that's a signal that something funny might be going on. So pay attention to those things. The other thing to pay attention to, and this is not just for romance scams, but all online scams, is that emergency and that sense of urgency. Trust yourself, trust your instincts, pause, take a deep breath, and maybe ask a friend what they think, if this is legitimate or not, just so that you're not mired by maybe your own excitement about a potential hot date.
And those bank apps that are so easy to transfer. If I don't mean to mention any specifically, but I will, Venmo and Zelle and whatnot. It's so easy. And once you transfer, PayPal, whatever, the money's gone at that point. Good luck getting it back, right? So it's just so easy. And once you do that, you'll probably never hear or see that person again. That's that.
Correct. You're never going to hear about it again. So it's really important to keep alert for these, again, the urgency when money is involved. And, another thing is to just be safe online and take good care of your accounts and use strong and unique passwords so that those accounts are well protected. Consider using a password manager like Bitwarden to help you with that. There are other techniques too, such as using email aliases, which will provide you a degree of anonymity that you could then choose to change later on. But these are just a few techniques that will help folks stay safe online. But the most important thing, of course, is to remember, take care of yourself and take care of your money.
Important. Great advice. Gary Ornstein, it's at bitwarden.com, Bitwarden, bitwarden.com.
Bitwarden.com. There's password managers for individuals, including one version that's free forever across unlimited logins and passwords. Also options to protect businesses as well, which are not immune either. So we all have to have a high sense of vigilance and really be aware.
You are fantastic. Great, great advice, especially this time of year. Gary Ornstein, Chief Customer Officer at Bitwarden. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much, Ken.
You bet. It's 28 minutes past the hour. When we come back, the author of I Love You More Than Chocolate will join us to talk about your child's emotional growth. We'll be back in 2.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Past the hour, Wednesday, February 11th. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full forecast for your area.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, so apparently we're getting a lot of rain in Southern California, Mike, because there are about 30 accidents I'm counting now. It's unbelievable. And it's only 4:31 in the morning, West Coast.
Right. Yeah, it's not like a light shower. I mean, it's really coming down with some of these bands off of the Pacific. All of this moisture helped and aided by this upper level system. You can see just how much rain is coming in there. We'll get back to that part of the forecast in just a bit. There's also rain happening over in Italy. If you've been watching the Olympics, you've seen the wet weather, the gray sky, even some of the snow for the downhill skiing. Visibility pretty low there, but I think we'll see better conditions by tomorrow and especially for Friday when all of that weather clears out. So better days ahead. You'll get back to those bright blue, beautiful vistas when the athletes take the hills once we get into the later part of this week. And then the 60s on the way for downtown there in the center of Miami. Now, Milan, excuse me. Our forecast, see, I'm only kind of thinking ahead to my own vacation. Our forecast bringing back mostly clear sky and sunshine today across New Jersey. It's overall a milder trend that goes into the weekend. We have one more round of cold air that takes over into later this week, specifically for Friday. I think it'll feel quite chilly before the milder weather takes over toward the weekend and the end of the week. So the futurecast showing a few more clouds around for today with this weak trough passing through. That's that dotted line. And then it's going to be nice and dry going into Friday and Saturday. With that, colder weather comes in. This cold kind of rain moves across the country but stays just off to our south, so allowing for maybe some mixing off to our west, but should not be an issue for us here in New Jersey. In fact, the long-range futurecast showing most of that cold weather sticking around for the next few days, but dry weather. And then for you in LA, after the rain today, you have a few days of dry weather that goes into the weekend, but more rain is on the way for Sunday into Monday, especially into next week with another upper level low that sits and spins and provides all this rainfall there for you in Southern California. So I think drier days ahead until we look for another round of wet weather. And you can even see here the last few frames showing all of that rain moving in across the LA County from this morning before more rain comes in for later on in the weekend, Ken.
All right, and that's what we're going to do, Mike. We're going to start with West Coast traffic, which we normally never do because it's so early, but this is very unusual to have this much traffic, this many incidents to report in the Los Angeles, the LA basin there. So thank you very much, Mike. It's 31 degrees in Trenton, right at the freezing line. So for New Jersey, be very careful. There's a lot of ice on area roadways. We have 34 degrees northern New Jersey, and it's 30 degrees right now in Vineland. Again, starting on the West Coast, we have a traffic collision right now in Baldwin Park. This is by the 210 at Sunflower Avenue on-ramp. There is a hit and run with no injuries reported in Newhall. That's on Route 14 at Via Princesa. And then we have a collision on Fruit Street at the 210. That's in Baldwin Park. We have something on Route 60 East at Azusa Avenue in Santa Fe Springs. Another accident. This is in Baldwin Park on Kellogg Hill Road at the 10. Also at the 10 at Holt Avenue off-ramp, there's an accident in Baldwin Park and a traffic collision now reported at Escondido Canyon Road at State Route 14. That's in Newhall. The accidents go on, about 30, 35 accidents, which again, in all the time that we have done, as we have channels here, both in New Jersey, New York, and in Southern California for LA and San Diego, we haven't seen ever this many accidents at this time of the morning. So I'm sure it's pouring there. You know about it. LA doesn't usually get a lot of rain, so please stay in for a little bit till the rain might lighten up. Otherwise, please be very careful and go slowly. We don't want any of you injured. In terms of the East Coast, let's look at this Newark, Elizabeth area. So in Elizabeth right now, we have a crash and fuel spill on Lyle King Street, and the right lane is blocked through there. We have a disabled bus, Lindbergh Road northbound approaching Brewster Road in Newark with the right lane closed there. And just some slowdowns based on volume. We have a 280 and 80 where they intersect. You see this delay. See this? It's really just volume. They're moving at about 25, 30 miles an hour, which is not too bad. But nonetheless, just be aware that, again, this is 280 and 80 in Parsippany, Troy Hills. That is, they're just reporting delays. All lanes open there right now, not so bad. Delays on 21 northbound from north of exit 13 to exit 14, about a 2-mile backup moving about 5-10 miles an hour, but nonetheless heavy. And again, all the area airports, their long-term parking lots are pretty full, if not entirely full. So if you are driving to any of the three major airports, make sure you have a reserved parking space, or else you're going to get there and not have a place to park your car. We look at the Hudson River crossings right now. The Lincoln Tunnel is now reporting 35 minutes across. Holland Tunnel is 25 to 30. Look at the GWB upper and lower levels, very heavy, basically a standstill. We're told it's 45 minutes in either way, upper or lower level. Hopefully at some point this spring, they can clean the camera lens, which is on the overpass, because it's getting dirtier and dirtier as the winter goes on. It is 7:36 East Coast, 4:36 West Coast. Denise Caesar is a New Jersey educator and the author of I Love You More Than Chocolate. Great title. With more than 25 years of experience as a speech language pathologist, Denise dedicated her career to supporting children's emotional growth, and now she's sharing that message through storytelling. We say good morning to you, Denise.
Good morning, Ken. So nice to be here with you.
Nice to have you on. And please tell us what inspired you to write the book. It's a great title.
Thank you. And especially during this Valentine's week, we're really right in the thick of all the excitement of chocolate, right? So the inspiration, I'm being an educator for over 25 years, the real inspiration was the birth of my son when he was born. Imagine, I know people say, oh my, but I used to just look at him and say, I just love you more than chocolate. And oh boy, do I love chocolate. So that was the mini inspiration 26 years ago.
Nice, very sweet. And tell us about what it's like as a parent. I am not a parent. I'm an uncle 6 times over, but not a parent. So tell us about what it is for a parent and how you can show your love for your children 100% every single day. But there are some simple ways to do that. How do we do that?
There's a lot of simple ways, but the most important thing is showing up, being there with them, giving them presents, your presence. I mean, the sweetness of me talking about the book of chocolate, really reading books, being together, making moments and time for each other.
Nice. And that, yes, being present is so important. You could always say, here's $10, go to the movies. That's not love, right? That's responsibility as a parent. But love is, hey, you want to go to the park? Hey, why don't we sit down and talk? How's dinner? Dinner time. Let's sit down and talk about school, right? That's what you want to do as a parent whenever possible. It's hard in this era, but that's more important. And that's something that a child will remember until their last days, right? More than any gift you can give them. And I know you spent more than 2 decades working, as you said, 25 years in education as a speech language pathologist. Having been in broadcasting for all the decades I'm in, I know about a dozen speech pathologists, including my own relatives. I have two. How did that influence your writing, being an educator for that many years?
So it's interesting as an educator, we're with books all the time. Do we really think we're going to be authors? I became a published author during COVID. My original book, Moments in Motion with Love, is all about being present, being mindful. So that did happen during COVID. So fast forward to becoming an author of this book, I was already in the thick of it, of knowing how to write a book and how to get it published. So I think that was like a catalyst to make this book come forward as the dream. The other book was purposeful and it was mindful, but this new book, of course, has all educational features in it as well.
I love it. And you've used your role as an author to give back to the community, including visiting a lot of children's hospitals. Tell us about those experiences.
Yeah, so when you do things, you have to give back, and especially for children in hospitals, the Ryan Seacrest Foundation and Cohen's Children's Hospital. I went to a lot of community events, but what it does is you have to give back, and those children are living in the moment if they're in the hospital. And I believe that any message of love, self-love, loving each other, and loving our planet is so vital right now.
Yeah, I worked with Ryan Seacrest for years when I was at Channel 7, and he was on Live with Kelly and Ryan back in those days. And I can tell
Mhm.
you, I publicly testify, as nice a person as he looks like on TV, that doesn't even describe the half of it. He's 100 times nicer than that in person. And you could just tell by the fact that he took his very well hard-earned money and started the Ryan Seacrest Foundation to help children in those hospitals and builds little radio stations there and everything. It's amazing. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Do you have any specific stories from some of the hospitals that you could share?
So one in particular, when we went and so, it's fragile because they are very, ill, the children, but some of them are allowed to come down to the studio and sit with you. But what really got me is that they are so present and they are so receptive. So my role there was to lift them up, but they lifted me up more than I could have lifted up them.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something? And kids always, just when you think they can't, they always do or say something that changes your whole day, or if not your whole life at that moment. Hey, what's a website so we could find out more about your previous book, your current book, or just more information about you?
So, of course, it's my name, DeniseCaesar.com, but it's Caesar with an E because I'm Italian, the Cesare, right? So it's Denise
That's why
Caesar.
I asked our producer, or I said, is it Cesare? Because io parlo italiano. I'm like, it has to be Cesare, but
It's Cesare, but really, it's Caesar because, when you get married, you marry that name, right?
there you go.
But as a
Absolutely.
speech
Yeah, you brought the
pathologist,
simple Italian in before.
as a speech pathologist, I had to say it right.
I love it. Hey, New Jersey educator, author of I Love You More Than Chocolate, Denise Caesar, Cesare. Check her out online. Denise, thank you for coming on this morning. Have a great day.
And have a great day, a sweet day.
You too. Happy Valentine's Day. 43 minutes past the hour. When we come back, February is Fashion Month. Fashionista Dawn Del Russo will join us with the emerging trends of 2026.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Wednesday, 45 minutes past the hour. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, lay it on us. Is this the rain going to last much in Southern California?
It's starting to wrap up, but you had a heavy round that came through about an hour ago, and it stretches all the way up and down the 5. You can see right there, going right through LA County, even down all the way to San Diego. So it's this kind of like wall of water that's working through. It'll wrap up quickly, but it's part of this upper level system that's allowing for this rain to continue on and off throughout the day, even though there's some drier weather that takes over by the end of the week, specifically for Friday into Saturday. And then we have more rain on the way for you into early next week. So it's a cold front that's kind of stalled over Southern California, working in combination with these two lows, giving the rest of the day kind of clouds into tomorrow with a really gray sky. Now, Friday, the high pressure takes over, and that will allow the dry weather and the winds to switch to blow from the north and west, allowing for a decent day before a little bit of marine layer comes in for Saturday. And then we have this next round of rain working in from the north and west that takes over throughout the day on Sunday into Monday and lasts into next week. Now, the future cast for you in the east has all of the dry weather taking over into today and tomorrow. We start the day sunny, transition to clouds, and overall it's going to be a little bit of a cooler finish to the week. Not as cold as it was last week, but still a little bit of a chill remaining across New Jersey, even throughout the day tomorrow and Friday. We get another quick round of clouds on Friday night, and then Saturday should clear out. But then by Sunday, we have that rain system that scoots its way off to our south, leading to a warmer week next week. So warm, in fact, that we're above average for most of the eastern half of the country, including us here in New Jersey. And that takes us right through the end of the month, through February 25th. So great news ahead as the drier weather, well, equal chances of rain or dry going into the end of the month as well. So finally, milder days ahead, but look at the rain for you in Southern California, above average chances of wet weather through the rest of the month of February. So rainy season coming a little bit early there in California.
I mean, isn't LA technically a desert, or what, that whole area was a
Sure,
desert,
it
right?
is, but yes, but they have their rainy seasons, and it usually happens in March. So to see it in February, a couple weeks early.
But and I only bring it up because in a desert climate, when you get rain, you usually get it dumped all at once, and it doesn't really drain like it drains in other parts of the country, right? So that's why you have
No, it
on
it
the mountain
washes off the top.
rocks.
That's why it's called a wash, because it is simply, it's like the ground is like concrete. It completely runs off and doesn't infiltrate, and so that's why you have those floods and the mudslides and all those things.
Well, so much for how many years we had of drought in Southern California. It's like Mother Nature saying, "Oh, you asked for rain? Well, here you go. Have it all
Sure.
at once,
Yep.
all on the same day." But
That's
we
it.
appreciate you, Mike. Thank you, sir. We'll check back. It is 31 degrees right now in Trenton, 34 degrees northern New Jersey, 30 degrees in Vineland on the East Coast, West Coast right now, 57 in Los Angeles, 59 in San Diego. And again, we're going to start with traffic in the West Coast for our West Coast viewers on LACA. We got still a lot of accidents. It seems that they are dissipating a little bit, but nonetheless, still a number of accidents. We've never had this many, 30, 35 accidents at once at this hour, 4:49 a.m. West Coast time. We have a hit and run with no injuries reported on the 105 at Long Beach Boulevard in South LA. There's a collision right now in Baldwin Park, and that is on the 210 at Foothill Boulevard. Another collision in Santa Fe Springs with unknown injuries on State Route 60 on the 605 at that interchange. We have a collision, unknown injuries, Baldwin Park. That's on State Route 60 at South Diamond Bar Boulevard by the on-ramp. Another collision report in Baldwin Park. This is on Sunflower Avenue on-ramp at the 210. And there's a collision on the 210 at Fruit Street in Baldwin Park. Santa Fe Springs has a collision with unknown injuries on Route 60 at Azusa Avenue, and on it goes. Literally 30 or so accidents. So this rain in SoCal was not, not that it wasn't expected. It's just that people do not expect to have to drive in these conditions. They get up and think it's just another morning, when 350 of the 365 days a year are dry in Southern California. You get very used to it, and then all of a sudden this happens, and this is what happens, all the accidents. To the East Coast now. The only thing really to report on, we have a disabled truck on I-78, local lanes westbound, west of exit 56, Elizabeth Avenue in Newark. You can kind of make it out there in the distance, a little bit of volume there toward the middle of the screen by the shaking camera. You can kind of see where the traffic is building up. Not a big deal on that. That's the only thing. It's a left shoulder issue. Left lane of 3 lanes closed. In downtown Newark per se, We have a crash and a fuel spill, Lyle King Street northbound by West Bay Avenue, actually next to Newark and Elizabeth, which is closer to the airport. Right lane is blocked. And this is actually in Newark, disabled bus, Lindbergh Road northbound, approaching Brewster Road. Right lane is closed through there. Again, the three major airports, we've been telling you about this all morning long. Their long-term parking lots are all between 96% and 100% capacity. So if you intend on getting out of Dodge, I think the cold weather made a lot of people book flights. Make sure you have your car reserved in a parking place, because if you show up at the airport and think you're going to get long-term parking, you're not. They're mostly full. So make sure you go online and book that parking space before you head to the airport, or just Uber it or cab it to the airport. Safer bet. Look at the Hudson River crossings now. Lincoln is still 35 minutes. Holland is only 20. GWB upper and lower level. We have a lot of volume right now. Bumper to bumper. Upper level on the right, lower on the left. It's going to cost you 45 in. 751 East, 451 West. It is officially Fashion Month. I took a wider shot so we could at least show my pocket square. I mean, I go to the effort of finding a good matching pocket square for our fashionista every week, and the damn camera shot always cuts it off. But it is officially Fashion Month, when the world's biggest designers take over 4 global cities, starting in New York, then moving to London, Milano, where the Olympics are right now, and Paris. These runway shows don't just set trends for the fashion world, they help determine what we will be wearing later this year. From everyday looks to red carpet moments, Dawn Del Russo, fashion expert and founder of livetheglamour.com, that's glamour with an O-U-R, is here to break down what makes each city unique and what trends are emerging for fall of 2026 and what viewers should be paying attention to right now. Good morning to you, Dawn.
Good morning, Ken. I could see your pocket square, so it
I
looks
get all
really nice.
excited like Del Russo's on today. I bet it looked like I took a minute to think, and
I
then
like
the
it.
camera angle is here. For gosh sakes,
I
I love
see
it.
it. I keep seeing it pop up, so it looks good. It's a nice touch.
Thank you.
Um,
I appreciate that. Well, tell us what
yeah.
sets Fashion Week apart in New York from other cities.
Yeah, this is, I mean, like you said, it's Fashion Month because it runs throughout the month. And this goes on twice a year. So this time of the year in February, we're actually seeing the styles that are going to be shown for the fall. So it's for fall 2026, and it does start in New York. Starting in New York, we kind of kick it off. I don't want to say, we do more classic looks, think denim, think more streets that's very wearable, your classic Ralph Lauren kind of look, Michael Kors. We have all those type of designers that are your core base starting in New York, the things that you're really going to look to and say like, oh, I could wear that. And New York everyone does still look at New York as like the fashion capital. But when you start to move on to let's say London, Milan, and Paris, they're the ones who are really going to show the show-stopping looks, the looks that are wow moments on the runway.
And the thing that those cities have in common, I mean, London, obviously, a lot of people in New York assume New York is a bigger city. London's a bigger city and a bigger metro. London is like 10
It's
million people in the city. It's huge.
It's true. And London, honestly, they are the ones that we look to for that unique style. They are a little bit darker and they're a little bit more risky with their looks. And they are probably the most unique compared to all the cities. When you look at their runway shows, you're going to see stuff. Designers get more creative. They have a freedom there in London that's a little different than New York and the rest of the cities. So if you want to see fashion that's going to stand out, have standout moments, you want to see designers that are really emerging that you maybe don't know about, or you want to find that piece that no one's going to have, London is the city to look at. And it really is a fun one, even for the street style. I love looking at the street style there and seeing what they're wearing. I've been to the London Fashion Week a few times, and it just has a whole different vibe to it. It's like the cool kids, like they're the ones that are a little bit different than everyone else. And I know people think that about New York, but if you look at London, you can tell it's really just like they have pieces that you'll never see anywhere, and they're daring enough to do it.
Very cool. And when the shows move to Milan, by the way, let me ask you this. Do a lot of the fashionistas go from city to city during Fashion Month? Do you start out New
Yeah.
York, London, Milan? I know
A
where
lot
somebody's going.
and influencers got really in the mix over the last like 10, 15 years. And you see them, you could follow them across across all 4. I've never done all 4 in a row. I've done them individually. but I've never done it where I took a whole month. It's a lot to take a whole month and go and see all the fashion shows, especially if you're a buyer, like if you're a buyer for a big department store like a Bloomingdale's or, a Harrods in London. If you're a buyer for that, you're going to be going to all of the shows. I did do Milan, and I have to say, I mean, I'm Italian, so Milan is that's just my favorite. And they're the fashion houses that you really, I think, stand out a lot. Versace, Fendi, Gucci, those runways. I mean, right now, the way it is, you never used to be able to have access unless you were going, you were invited to the fashion shows. You didn't really have access to seeing what was going to be shown on the runways. Now with social media, they do them pretty much live. If you're on Instagram, they're going to do a live. If you go on some of their actual sites, they do the shows live. So you can watch them from the comfort of your home and really feel like an insider going to the shows. But I guess I'm biased because I do love Milan, but going to that during Fashion Week, going to Milan during Fashion Week, it's just a completely different energy and something that I'm so happy that I've gotten to experience because it really, you see the fashion people come out.
Well, listen, I got to cut you for a second because we're only down to 30 seconds. You got to give us 30 seconds of Paris.
Yeah, Paris is your class. Chanel, YSL. They're the ones that are Dior, the fashion houses that pretty much started it all. So if you want to go and see fashion at its best, it's going to be in Paris. I have to say, those people are so elegant.
Well, we love it. And people can check you out at your website. Tell everybody your website again.
Yes, livetheglamour.com. And I will have a recap of all the shows on there too. So you get to see them there.
I love it. All right. You are Fashionista, the lady I look to for my fashion tips, expert and founder of livetheglamour.com. That's glamour with an O-U-R. All right, Don Del Russo, we always love having you on. Thank you for coming on this morning. I'm going to go pick up more pocket squares.
Yes. Thank you.
Enjoy Fashion Month. And we are coming right back on the East Coast. For those of you in California, stay tuned on LACA for more news, traffic, and information. And watch out for all that rain. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Good morning. It is 8 a.m. Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, and our phone lines are open. 888-658-0234. Clouds this morning, some breaks of sun later. Very windy, though, with highs in the low 40s, but the wind is going to make it feel colder than that. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
I'm a little verklempt, Mike. Excuse me. Just I don't have a cough button in this studio that I'm in right now, so you're gonna have to endure my verklempt-itude. Sorry.
It's all right. I still have neck pain trying to hold a sneeze yesterday, but my mic was on, and just kind of
Awful.
cramped up like that, and here we are to let you know you're old. But with all of the clear sky today, you feel young again with the sunshine, with the milder weather. We are up above the freezing mark in Hackensack, 36 degrees, 33 for you in Long Branch, and even just slightly below that freezing mark in Morristown, when it feels like 23 there on the green, thanks to a wind that's not terribly harsh. A little bit more of a gusty breeze down the shore, especially toward Atlantic City, 24-mile-per-hour winds, but we're still running a good 9 to 11 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. Had a little glaze of freezing rain that came through last night, especially in northern New Jersey. Pam, that's probably why you had that ice on the front steps. It's all about that light glaze that took over and is now clearing out, leading to a sunny afternoon. And with temperatures all across the state climbing into the upper 30s or low 40s, right even down the shore, maybe heading out to an appointment at your local Audio Nova clinic location, you've got great weather today as compared to that frigid cold that made it feel 40 to 50 degrees cooler this past weekend. So we'll take the good, especially with that milder trend through this afternoon. It gets a little chilly again tomorrow with some clouds, but ultimately the sunshine returns again for Friday with those highs again back above the freezing mark. And then with a few early morning clouds on Saturday, that clears for some sunshine by the afternoon. We get another round of cold on Sunday, back down in the teens, but again, that shouldn't last too long because that's the last of our very cold weather. Look at these highs getting up into the 40s by Saturday. That will feel lovely. We'll tell you all about it coming up with a check of the extended forecast and the weekend weather, Ken, in a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. We have 31 degrees in Trenton, 34 degrees northern New Jersey. The wind's starting just a little bit to pick up. And that, like we said, is going to get windier and windier through the day. Mostly cloudy, peaks of sun. And then, as Mike said, the sun will come in more and more through the day. Those milder temps, but windy. Just be aware of that. In terms of traffic, we have a disabled truck right now, 78 local lanes westbound, west of exit 56, Elizabeth Avenue in Newark. The left shoulder and a left lane of 3 lanes closed. You can kind of see it off in the distance, sort of. It's kind of hard to see in that shot. That's the best shot we can give you closest to it. We have a disabled bus on Lindbergh Road northbound approaching Brewster Road in Newark. The right lane is closed there. And then we have parking related issues. So at all the 3 area major airports, the long-term parking lots that a lot of people have, oh, we'll just drive there this morning. I got a flight to wherever. Make sure you have a pre-reserved parking space, either in the airport long-term garage or at one of the satellite garages nearby, because they're all at 95 to 100% capacity right now. So you may show up, you have an hour to your flight, you can't park your car. Make sure you have a booked flight, you have a booked flight probably. Make sure you have a booked parking space if you're going to drive. Otherwise, take Uber, Lyft, a cab, have a friend drop you off because you will not find a place to park. Very important. In terms of the Hudson River crossings right now, delays at the Holland Tunnel, South Tunnel, eastbound, Mid-Tunnel in Jersey City. All lanes are open, but apparently it's very delayed there. You're talking about 25 to 30, which is unusual for the Holland. Lincoln is 35 minutes right now. GWB upper and lower, extremely heavy. Take a look at that. We have bumper to bumper. It is stopped. Upper level on the right, lower on the left, now costing 45 to 50 minutes making your way into Manhattan via the GWB. 8:04 is our time, and a man has been detained for questioning, but he was released. This was in connection with the abduction of Nancy Guthrie, apparently a delivery person. The unidentified man was stopped during a traffic stop in Rio Rico. That's an hour south of Tucson near the Mexico border. When you stop a person and you only call the person a person of interest, you either have to charge them within a few hours or you have to let them go. Now, and this is not to suggest any guilt, because this person may be totally innocent. I'm saying simply, Just because they release the person doesn't mean the person is off the hook. But it may mean the person is off the hook. We don't know. Just that, believe me, trust me, if they release that person after interviewing him, they took lots of data. They know where to find him. I'm sure they'll keep an eye on him if, in fact, they get more incriminating information. But for now, that person is free. All right. The question still is Nancy Guthrie alive and well, and where is she? So this development follows the release of video we saw last night of an armed, masked person on the doorstep of the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Again, not clear if Nancy is alive or unharmed. We hope she's okay. The major development comes more than a week after she vanished. She was last seen January 31st when she was dropped off at her Tucson home by her son-in-law, followed by a dinner with him and her daughter Annie. And this information this morning, which was kind of puzzling, the FAA has announced that all flights into and out of El Paso International Airport in Texas have been canceled. The airport's effectively closed. You can't land or take off from it. And this is being called a special security reason. The FAA will not get into any more detail on that, and they don't have to. The airport borders Mexico. The order remains in effect for the next 10 days. We position that story next to the Guthrie story. We don't know if it's connected to the Guthrie story. It may be something totally unrelated. It could be something the Trump administration working on with drug running in Mexico. We don't know. We have no idea. Just know that if you have anybody who would be flying from El Paso International to New York, they're going to be delayed because they have to find a new way to get there. They're going to have to drive to like an hour or two to another airport to make their way wherever they're headed. Big bust in Hudson County, New Jersey. Jersey City police say that they've arrested a former Goya Foods payroll employee after a theft of $274,000. Investigators say the theft began in 2023, ran for 2 years, involving fraudulent payroll activity and financial fraud. Detectives poured through payroll records and bank transactions before arresting 54-year-old Jennifer Cutler. She was charged with theft, computer crime, impersonation, and misapplication of property. The federal deadline to get your income tax returns in is April 15th. Now, in certain years, the deadline was extended because of various holidays, but nope, not this year. The deadline is April 15th. So make sure your income tax returns at the very least are postmarked by 11/59/59, April 15th, 2026 or earlier, or else you could be in trouble. You can request an extension, but remember you have to pay any estimated tax when you file. Again, by when? April 15th. New Jersey lawmakers are proposing a bill that would require ICE agents to unmask in the Garden State. Bill S-3112 would prohibit all law enforcement officers, no matter who they are, in New Jersey from wearing any face coverings while interacting with the public. Now, the measure follows criticism that ICE agents often wear masks to protect them from being doxxed. Critics say the masks stoke fear and limit accountability. Democrat State Senator Benji Wimberly proposed the bill. D.C. lawmakers have already pointed out, though, that the Supremacy Clause of the U.S. Constitution prohibits local laws that interfere with the enforcement of federal law. So critics point out that only 18% of all high schoolers in Passaic can read, yet State Senator Wimberly is focusing his time on passing laws that cannot be enforced. ICE agents working in Roxbury arrested a criminal illegal alien from Honduras. Jesus Fabian Lopez Benegas illegally entered during the Biden administration and was eventually arrested and charged with drug trafficking, drug possession, and DUI. Now, in 2021, a judge ordered him deported, but under Biden's lax enforcement, he remained in the U.S. Well, federal agents say yesterday they tried to arrest him for removal. Lopez Benegas tried to run over an ICE agent, they said, with his car. The agent shot out his tires. He was taken into ICE custody. You're a U.S. citizen, you live in the Garden State, you want to go to college, but you can't afford it. So you choose an option of going to a public college because you think that's more affordable, right? Well, now New Jersey's public college tuition is going up again, and the cost increases far outpace salary increases. State Senator Shirley Turner is proposing reeling in public college tuition cost hikes, but fails to mention how those colleges can then make up the difference. Each year, 2,000 illegal aliens and an additional 1,500 so-called dreamers are given grants to cover some or most of their college tuition, but not citizens. Perhaps the tens of millions of dollars that covers them could be shifted to cover the tuition hike so U.S. citizens could better afford college? Just saying. It is 8:10, and did you know that volunteer fire departments throughout New Jersey, funded by your donations, are charged the same utility rates as businesses. That is until now. Under a new state law, utility rates for volunteer fire departments will become the same as the rates charged to private homeowners. And certain individual volunteer firefighters may now qualify to receive stipends for themselves to help cover some of their personal utility costs as well. A lot of them don't make a lot of money, and they donate all of their time to help protect your neighborhood and protect your house. The lower rates come as electric rates soared under former Democrat Governor Murphy's administration when he shut down 6 fossil fuel or nuclear power plants to make way for so-called green energy plants that never got built. Demand soared as supply waned, and that shot up electric rates. Well, the Garden State is also the college state. Britain's QS World University Rankings 2026 ranked 1,501. I wonder who the one is. 1,501 of the world's best colleges and 3 New Jersey universities were ranked among the best institutions anywhere on the planet. They are Princeton, which ranked at number 11. It actually ranked number 1 in a lot of other studies, but Princeton ranks 11 in this study around the world. Rutgers is number 275 on the planet, and the New Jersey Institute of Technology, another great school, ranked 396. The U.S. had more universities on that list than any other country with 192 institutions. Go Garden State. It is currently 33 degrees in Trenton, 35 northern New Jersey, 30 degrees now in Vineland, and 34 degrees in Candy. Time is coming up on 8:12, and when we come back, Valentine's Day is this Saturday. Yeah, I know how women over 50 are looking for love in all the right or all the wrong places. We'll discuss with an expert. Don't go away. You want to tune in for that. Going to have some clouds this morning, breaks of sun throughout the day. It'll be very, very windy, though. Highs today only making it to the low 40s, but the wind will make it feel a lot colder than that. The full Garden State forecast with meteorologist Mike Favetta when we return. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings, streamed daily on Roku, Fire TV, News On, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, Facebook, and X. Also on ONNJ.com and ONLACA.com. We're also streamed live on Local Now, Substack, Rumble, and Twitch. Just go to twitch.tv/On New Jersey. Again, coming up on 8:13, and we are coming right back. Don't go away.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Wednesday. It is 8:15. Some clouds this morning, breaks of sun through the day. Very windy, though. Highs low 40s. The wind will make it feel colder than that. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast for you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike. So how windy is windy?
Windy, gusts up to 20 miles an hour, but that's really down the shore. Most of northern New Jersey just has lighter breezes, so it's not terrible considering the air temperature is in the upper 30s today, so the wind chill won't be as harsh. You can see those clouds right now exiting south of Atlantic City. With air temperatures, again, climbing into the mid 40s there across central New Jersey, plenty of sunshine today as opposed to the clouds that were around most of the day yesterday. A nice dry finish to the afternoon, and there's the breezes up to about 20 miles per hour today. Lighter winds going into tomorrow, but a little bit colder, even though there's a little bit of a southwesterly breeze. That'll bring back some clouds throughout the early morning on Saturday, and then another harsh start to the day on Sunday morning with that northwesterly breeze. We're back down in the teens, but it's brief because I think even though the wind chill will be quite chilly again tomorrow morning, starting off in the teens and single digits, there's not as much cold air in place for next week. So this is the last hurrah of winter, at least the coldest part of winter, as we exit what is statistically the coolest part, the end of January, early February, coldest part of the year. We start to see those temperatures warm up, from zero, so it's not like they have very far to go beyond that into the rest of the week. There's that little glaze of freezing rain across northeastern New Jersey. It came through last night, put down a quick coating of ice, but now we see the warming trend take over, and as temperatures go, it'll be very mild through next week. Just have to make it through the next few days of a little bit of a chill, especially with those overnight lows back down in the teens. You can see 10 in Morristown, 15 in Newark, and then by Friday morning, a little bit milder. Could be a quick flurry, and then going into Saturday and Sunday, the colder part of the weekend will be behind us, and we're back into above average territory. So 40 as our high on Saturday, mostly sunny skies, a little bit of that cold on returns for Sunday. But I got to tell you, the 7-day forecast looks amazing for next week with highs at night above freezing. That'll be a nice change, Ken, going into next week.
Well, sure it will. Give me 70 degrees and then I'll be a happy camper. Until then, I'm just being,
We'll get there.
It's going to be
We'll get there.
the kvetch that I am. So there we go. All right, Mike, we appreciate you, sir. It is 33 degrees in Trenton right now, 37 degrees northern New Jersey. I'm liking that. 31 in Vineland, 34 at Cape May. In terms of traffic right now, not a lot of it. In fact, things are disappearing off the screen as we speak. Right now we have, we have a little bit of a delay on I-80 at 280. It's just volume. Route 23 southbound north of Route 511, Boonton Boonton Avenue, I should say, in Butler. To Boulevard Ave in Riverdale. All lanes are open, but again, it's just a little bit of a slowdown. We're being told to remind everybody once again that there are parking lot issues at all the three major area airports. So if you intend on driving to those airports to park long term, make sure you have a reserved parking space in advance because those lots, for the most part, are 95 to 100% full. So if you show up and you got a flight in an hour, you got to park your car and rush in and get through security, you're going to have problems getting a space. So make sure you have a reserved parking space either at the airport or at one of the satellite parking lots. It's easy to do. You go online, put in the airport, look for satellite parking, and make sure that they have shuttle service because a lot of them don't today, and then you'll be fine. Okay, we look at the Hudson River crossings. Right now, some delays at the Holland Tunnel. There's something happening mid-span within the middle of the tunnel, just causing a slowdown, still moving, but they're telling us now 30 minutes, which for the Holland is a long time to get in. The Lincoln Tunnel is 20 to 25 minutes in, which is improving. GWB has been a mess. Look at this, upper and lower levels still jamming. Upper on the right is stopped. Lower is moving a little bit on the left. Either way, it's going to cost you about 40 to 45 minutes. All right, it is now 8:19 and Valentine's Day, or as people say, like fingernails on a chalkboard, it's not Valentine's Day. Please, for the love of God, don't call it that. It's an N. Read. Okay, I've ranted. Valentine's Day is this Saturday, and love is everywhere. Watch where you step. Now, that could spell frustration for some women over 50, especially after divorce or a major life transition. Junie Moon is a love and relationship expert and a love coach. Where were you 20 years ago for me? She works.
Where was I 20 years ago for me?
I love you. You're awesome. I can see this is going to be we're going to have you on all the time. She will talk about how women over 50 can help break long-standing relationship patterns, build healthier, more fulfilling connections. Good morning, Junie. It's good to have you on.
So good to be here because I'm a Jersey girl and I live in Montclair. This is so cool.
Awesome. I used to live in North Colwell forever, so I love Montclair. Montclair is great. Right now,
Yeah.
I must fess up, though. I am in Fort Lauderdale on the beach at this moment. I'm not going to lie. So that's why, hence, everyone's like, it's so cold out. How do you have tan? Well, the sand is about 20 feet that way, but that's okay. We're not going to get into that. More importantly, though, it's Valentine's Day. And no, I will not say Valentine's Day. It is Valentine. By the way, that's a rule. Ladies, if a guy says Happy Valentine's Day, out the door, gone, bye. There's an issue there. I'm just telling you. So you work with women over 50 who are starting over in love. Why do some women seem to have more dating successes than others at that stage?
I think it's readiness. I think some women have taken the time after the relationships that they've left and done the work. They've taken the time to come home to who they are, know what they want, and are just more excited about this stage of life versus carrying the past with them. Because when people carry the past, they're more hesitant, they're more guarded, and that's what gets in the way of a lot of people starting over.
And it's too easy with the dating apps today. You just swipe, 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 swipe. People look at the surface, they look at the pic, and they just assume, oh, this person is good, this person is bad. They could be swiping past some really good quality people, and they could be falling in love with some real dirtbags, right?
Yes, and then they come to me and say, help me. And they want me to help them with online dating and the apps. And yes, there's a way to do it right. And there's a way that can make it way more challenging, like you just said. And that's why it's so important to do the work before, because if you jump right into the online dating and you get into the swiping and you really aren't clear and aligned with what it is that you want, like that North Star of who you are now, you're more apt to hop into a relationship or bed or with somebody that you're not so ready to be with. And that's why people start giving up so quickly.
Yeah. And just an aside, I know so many people who decided after 25, 30 years, now that I'm pushing 60, I know so many people who have had divorces recently, but they've been very amicable divorces. Like they just realize that I do love you as a friend. I just want to try something new with my life. And while I have
Yeah.
20 years, 30 years left, I'm going to move on. And they've amicably parted. I know 3 different couples who've done that. And like they're still really good friends after. Is this a trend? Is it that people are finally maturing? Because love can bring on a lot of jealousy, and that's not always the easy thing to do.
I think it's a mixed bag there.
Right.
I'm one of those people that had the amicable, and I see it often for sure, but I also see a lot of heartache and heartbreak, or even people at this age having a loss. And so people are feeling a lot of feels around, I don't want to do what I did in the past. I'm scared of creating that again in the future. And that takes a toll on people, whether they're going to have a magnificent second act or not. So I really do think it's a mixed bag, but how wonderful that people can find that friendship and that connection, because it does help not only for them, but for their kids and for their next relationship. So they're not holding on to resentments and fears of what just happened in the divorce or that last relationship.
Yeah, because that resentment hurts you more than the other person. It really does. Sometimes you just have to say, you know what, it's hard at first, but you have to just keep reinforcing. I love this. I love myself first, and I'm going to love these other people and respect them, and just keep
Mm.
asking the powers that be to just bless that person and hope they have a wonderful life and move forward. Because the more you wish well on them, the more it'll come back to you. I firmly
Mm.
believe that. And you often say mindset matters more than a dating profile. What does that mean?
Yeah. And I love what you just said. That was so beautiful. If you go into a date and you're on guard and you're focused on, is he going to be like my ex? Am I safe? Well, we have to be conscious of safety, but are we looking for red flags? Are we going to be open and enjoy? That's a very different date. So what I see often with people starting over is they are guarded. They are more, they're in their fear of what might happen. And so that energy, that mindset is going to affect how open they are and how they can connect with that person across the table. When somebody has taken a beat and really love their life now and know who they are now. And like you said, love themselves. They can go on that date and enjoy it so much. And that's what changes everything when it comes to starting over and really having fun, because a lot of people are not having fun dating, and it can be so pleasurable if you have that mindset of openness and readiness.
Yeah. And while it's important as humans to use our life experiences and keep them in the back of our heads, but it's also a little unfair, right? To judge everybody who comes along based on the person you were just with, because it's really not fair. That person comes into the situation is like, oh, you're going to judge me against Superman over here, whatever. Everybody has their own qualities and everybody has their own negatives, and you just have to judge them as individuals.
Exactly. Because if you're looking at the person in front of you and all you're seeing are all the people that you've dated in the past or have had relationships in the past, you're not present. And if you're not present with the person in front of you, what are the chances that you could actually start over with that person with a fresh slate? So I think it's really important to let go of the past, do the healing work, enjoy your life, and then just look at it as a wonderful, fun opportunity to meet a new person with fresh eyes.
I love that. And now we only got about 35, 40 seconds left here. I just want to quickly hit two things. That's a lot. Number one, for Valentine's Day, if you don't have a Valentine, how about getting together with all the ladies and having a Galentine's Day and just fun?
Yes, make a plan. If you don't want to be by yourself, again, mindset, what is it that you want? Have a great time. Reach out to your friends. There are other people that don't want to be alone as well. Or if you choose to be alone, make it wonderful. Order in great food, watch a great movie. Just enjoy the day, because there's nothing more important than the relationship you have with yourself. And you can have an extraordinary Valentine's Day. You don't need the other person. They're coming. Enjoy the day.
It's always when you least expect it, when you're not looking. You could be looking, right? When you don't look, then boom, all of a sudden it happens. You have to give us a website for more information, Junie.
Yes, lovecoachjuniemoon.com. And I have a lot of free resources there. So definitely go there. And there's a lot to do when it comes to love. And the biggest thing is opening up. So go there, and I'm happy to support you there.
Well, I love you for Valentine's Day. Love and relationship expert and love coach Junie Moon. Thank you for coming on this morning. Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Junie. And we're coming right back. Don't go away.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
very good morning. It's 8:30, Wednesday, February 11th. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. Our phone lines are open at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
I just can't believe, Mike, that we're up into the 30s today. Upper 30s, low 40s. I'll take it.
Going to be lovely with sunshine. It'll feel great. You'll see a lot of the snow and ice melting, which is always a positive sign. Lets you know that winter is winding down, at least in terms of the extreme cold. You see these clouds that are working in across northeastern New Jersey right now, taking over, but the sun breaking out across southern parts of the state, allowing our highs to climb into the low and mid 40s, a good 10 degrees above average. Even in the shade, you'll see some of that snow and ice melt. You notice the sunrise happening earlier and earlier before 7 a.m. now, sunset closer to 5:30 p.m. And with that, today we start off sunny, but again, some clouds return throughout the afternoon. At least there's no new snowfall. That's always a good sign. With a few clouds that linger into tomorrow, we clear out yet again for Friday, so the end of the week looking dry, but it does get a little bit colder, especially as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Another quick round of clouds comes in with that weak front, and that will promote a little bit of clearing for Sunday. The 7-day forecast shows a nice warming trend after the weekend. So notice, while this weekend is still chilly, especially with overnight lows down in the 20s, look what happens by next week. Afternoon highs well into the 40s, even probably closer to the upper 40s down the shore, and the overnight lows, that's key, down above the freezing mark. Even with the little chance of rain for Monday, most of this is suppressed to our south, so I think most of the shore stays dry. Those overnight lows above the freezing mark is a nice signal that there's more warm air ahead. That takes us into next weekend.
All right. Nice, Mike. All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Anything with the word warm up, I get all giddy as a child. We appreciate you, Mike. It is, yes, I admit it, 33 degrees right now in Trenton, 36 northern New Jersey, 35 in Cape May. And looking at traffic, it's now starting to build. It's been okay for the New Jersey, New York area for the most part, except for the Hudson River crossings all morning long. Now we have a few incidents that just happened. So let's go to I-80 eastbound. East of exit 61, Route 507, River Road in Elmwood Park, 2 right lanes of 5 lanes closed now. If you could kind of make it out there. Yeah, you can see the traffic actually even rubbernecking in the opposite direction. So yeah, there's, and you can see the flashing lights now behind the trees. All right, so that's where it's happening. So 2 of the 5 lanes are now closed with a blockage there. That is again I-80 eastbound, east of exit 61, River Road in Elmwood Park. 2 of the 5 lanes now closed. In Bridgewater, we have a crash on Route 22 eastbound just west of Vossler Avenue. The right lane is closed there. We have delays on 287 southbound north of exit 14 to north of exit 12 in Bridgewater Township. All lanes open. That's about a 2 to 3 mile delay. We go over to the Hudson River crossings. The Holland Tunnel now is a little bit slow. In fact, slower than it usually is. It's usually only about 15 to 20. In the Manhattan right now, it's about 30, and that's because of some issue mid-tunnel in one of the tubes. Just be aware of that. The Lincoln Tunnel is going to be 30 to 35 in. GWB's been a mess all morning, upper and lower levels. Take a look at how heavy they are. It's going to be 40 to 45 minutes of making your way eastbound. It is 8:33 right now, and too many of our neighbors simply cannot afford to put food on the table on a regular basis. DoorDash is working to address that challenge through its community credits program and something called Project Dash. Ivan Garcia is head of New York and New Jersey public engagement at DoorDash, and Leah Rowe is a director of wellness, student advocacy, and violence prevention at Passaic County Community College. We say good morning, Ivan and Leah. And before I go on, is it Ivan or Ivan? Because yo puedo hablar español también. Some people want to go by the American, the English pronunciation. I want to make sure I pronounce your name right. So how do I do that?
Good morning, Ken. Great question. I actually go by both because my mother calls me both.
All right. I'll call you whatever. I'll go back and forth then. That way I'll be mom and Ken at the same time. Let's start. Yes. Good morning and welcome to both of you and for what you're doing here. God bless you both for this. DoorDash recently made a community credits donation to Passaic County Community College. And why was Passaic County Community College selected, and what was the impact that you were hoping that this support would have on the students there?
Great question. So we chose Passaic because when we did a little bit of research last year when the SNAP benefits, when everything was happening with SNAP benefits, we realized that Passaic County had one of the highest recipients of SNAP. in New Jersey. And obviously, we know that students are at times some of the folks that need it the most.
And that is sweet that you did that, because New Jersey does have a lot of areas that are certainly more challenged financially. And food, I always say that sometimes people are reticent to give money or to give gifts or whatever, but when it comes to food, that's where the walls come down. All right, because everybody knows at some point what it feels like to be a little hungry, but to not know where your meal is going to come from, that's terrifying, I think, for most people. And it's all too much and all too often the reality for too many. And DoorDash also partnered with organizations across New Jersey, including Hudson County Community College, also the City of Camden, and the Boys and Girls Club of Mercer County, all areas that really are financially challenged. And how do these community credits partnerships rather adapt to meet the specific needs of each of those communities?
I'll let Leah jump in a little bit into this, but one thing that I know DoorDash likes to do is partner with organizations locally because they understand the need that's on the ground better than I will.
Amen to that. Well, then let's go over and see with Leah. Leah, when you found out that the college was getting this special treat, if you will, through Project Dash, et cetera, that must have been very, very good and welcome news.
Absolutely. It was tremendous news. And I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you so much for having us. And thank you to Ivan and DoorDash. It was tremendous news to learn that DoorDash wanted to partner with us, as we really rely on our community partners. We have a robust network of community partners that support our work, and we're always looking to expand that. So we are extremely grateful for the community credits, and we look forward to being able to expand our impact as the need is great.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back to like college days, which just for the record is about 120 years ago for me. But thinking back, like you have enough to worry about, right? You're entering adulthood, you have issues at home, you're probably away from home for many kids for the first time ever. In their lives. Now you have financial issues of your own. You know that your family's having financial issues. They're probably spending all they have to make sure you have a college education, and you can't get food. I mean, talk about stress levels, and food insecurity is such a big issue that many college students face, and they face it quietly. They don't like to share that information with the people around them. So what does that challenge look like specifically at Passaic, and how does it affect student success there?
Absolutely. Yeah. Hunger in our community and for our student population can look a number of different ways. And to echo your point, students do not like to come forward and admit that there's a problem. And we know that we know that can be a barrier at times. So we work to be, destigmatizing and make sure that our visibility is welcoming to them. But hunger can look at multiple ways for our students. It can look like perhaps opting to support their family or support their loved ones or their caregivers or those that they're taking care of instead of, supporting themselves. It can look like not really having access to grocery store or means to go grocery shopping with. It can look like making a choice between transportation to and from school and to and from work and a meal. So it can look at a lot of ways. And to date, our services have actually impacted over 4,000 students, individuals, and families. So we know that the need is there. And we also know that if we create a space where people feel welcome, they'll come. And our goal is to, continue our impact with the assistance of great partnerships like this.
100%. And Passaic County Community College has been using the community credits donation from DoorDash to help students access food and other essential items. So how does it work? Is it that the students can apply for it and get those credits with a DoorDash app? How does it exactly work?
So our services have a gamut of resources available to our students. First off, we operate 3 fully functional pantries at our Patterson, Passaic, and Wanakee locations. And those pantries are equipped with both perishable and non-perishable, fresh foods, snacks, hygiene products, diapers. So we're really, we try to be like a one-stop shop for our students in that sense. But due to, the amount of need that we've been seeing and the sort of gamut of problems, we sort of are going to be reserving these on a discretionary basis. But being that, DoorDash has been so generous, we really look forward to being able to impact at least 100 students with this very generous donation. And it's great because we were able to kind of make relationships and connections with the individuals that we serve. So we sort of know, if a DoorDash community credit for something like groceries that they can actually have delivered to school or to home is going to make a huge impact. So they don't have to use the 2 bus tickets they have this week to go grocery shopping. That's the student that we're going to help with this. And we look forward to, using our discretion and assessing, but also, like I said, making a big impact. We're targeting impacting about 100 to 150 students with these very generous donations. So thank you.
Sure. And I have to ask Ivan or Ivan, I have to ask you, what's the response been from your DoorDash, the drivers, the delivery people to this? I'm sure that many of them probably encountered a lot of food insecurity for themselves. That's why many people are driving DoorDash, right? To try to help put food on the table themselves. So I bet you a lot of them really get it.
Yeah, I mean, something that's great. I'll touch a little bit on Project Dash. That's when we use our logistics to make deliveries from food pantries, food banks, or any nonprofit from the food pantry directly to the door. And these are delivery workers that are making these drop offs. And before they make the drop off, they get a little note saying, like, do you want to help someone in need within your community? And yes, to your point, a lot of them have faced food insecurity themselves.
Wow. It's such a sweet and wonderful thing you're doing. And God bless both of you for it. Ivan Garcia, head of New York and New Jersey public engagement at DoorDash. Leah Rowe, director of wellness, student advocacy, and violence prevention at Passaic County Community College. You both have a very special place in heaven, I'm sure, for all the good work you're doing. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank
You bet.
you.
Good people, good New Jersey people. And when we come back, first responders are there to help us in an emergency, but who helps them? We'll explain. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're coming back in 2 minutes. Don't go away.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Wednesday at 8:45. We have a caller on the line right now. I see it's Sue. Sue, if you could hear us, just hang on 1 second. We got to do a quick weather update, and then we will come to Sue, okay? And you're welcome to call us at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Also, icing conditions to tell you about in parts of the area. But right now, right after the sponsorship mention, we will have a check of our weather with meteorologist Mike Favetta.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, it's strange that we see the temperature coming up, but yet there's still parts of the area right at that freezing mark, right? And so just to let everyone
Sure.
know, as we toss to you, Mountain Avenue in Mountainside, New Jersey, closed because of icing.
Wow.
So all lanes
Mhm.
closed. Mountain Avenue in Mountainside. Pam, our director, said when she came in, there was just ice everywhere. So just be
Yep.
aware of that because we're right at that freeze, not freeze line, right?
And there was a light glaze of freezing rain that fell from the sky for about 2 hours last night between about 2 and 4 a.m., hitting just that northeastern part of New Jersey, maybe extending as far south as Mountainside. But it's all about the warmer weather throughout this afternoon, which will help melt any of that accumulation. And then even going into the next few weeks, we'll have some chances of some wet weather, warmer than average temperatures likely through the end of the month. That's some great news, a welcome relief for the energy bills and for us, because you just get cabin fever kind of locked away. Can't really go outside when it has been so cold. Now today we get up to 40 over in Jersey City, 39 in Newark and 40 in Morristown. That will feel lovely with the sunshine this afternoon. We get another round of clear sky into the weekend. Gets chilly each morning, but we managed to break through and climb back up into the upper 30s through the weekend. Next week, look at this. We make a run for 50 by Wednesday. So about a week from now, we'll be well above average, enjoying that milder trend, and watch all of that snow and ice slowly go bye-bye.
Okay. All right, Mike. Thank you very much. It's amazing. Just like we had in LA a few hours ago, we now
Yep.
have all of these traffic incidents just popping up now. So we must be right at that freeze mark. We had nothing all
Yeah.
morning. All of a sudden, they're all happening now. Mike, we appreciate you. So thank you. And it is 33 degrees in Trenton, 31 degrees now in Vineland. Let's take a look at the traffic. Let's go over to this. This is Route 22. A crash on 22 eastbound west of Vossler Avenue, Bridgewater, right lane of 2 lanes closed. Stay on that shot if you don't mind, Pam, because not too far away from there, we have icing on 22 eastbound Mountain Avenue and Mountainside. All lanes are closed at that other location. So something to do there. Mountain Avenue. It's called Mountain Avenue because it's elevated, right? It's in a mountain. That's literally why they call it that. We forget. We think it's just named after a pretty thing. No, it really is in the mountains. And so once you get up at those elevations, you get some cold air, and that's all you need. On the Garden State Parkway, disabled vehicle now express lanes northbound south of exit 120, Lawrence Harbor and Matawan with 1 right lane block. We also have a disabled vehicle on the Garden State northbound exiting at 144, Route 510 Irvington with a lane block. And we have a crash on I-80 eastbound east of exit 61 River Road, Elmwood Park, 2 right lanes of 5 lanes closed. The Hudson River crossings right now, Lincoln is reporting 30 minutes in, Holland is 30 to 35 due to an incident that is mid-tube, I should say. And then the GWB upper and lower heavy all morning. It's going to cost you about 35 to 40 minutes in, upper on the right, lower on the left. And we are going to go to the phones right now. Let us talk to Sue. Sue, you're on the phone. You're on the air live with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Did I read right here? You want to talk about ICE? Now, by ICE, do we mean ICE agents or ICE on the roads?
Yes. No, ICE agents.
Okay,
yes,
so
I'm calling. Well, there was an incident yesterday in Landing, as I understand it, which I think is part of Roxbury Township. And ICE was out, it's my understanding from what I read, to arrest an illegal person who was a criminal. And during this exchange, they were on a main road, and the person tried to use his car as a weapon to run down the ICE agent. And everyone's in an uproar because shots were fired by the agent, who simply shot the tires of the car. And so you see on social media, everybody having a fit and an investigation. Our fearless helicopter pilot governor there is sounding the alarm, and, you know, as she's been doing since the beginning when she's not talking about Trump. And it just kills me that we live in a society where here's someone trying to uphold the law and somebody's attacking him. He doesn't even shoot the person. You know, it's not a Renee Good situation, and everybody's in an uproar when he's just trying to do what's honorable. And I'm just wondering what the heck has happened to society that immorality or just being illegal and fighting the rules seems to be the norm and the acceptable, when being a rule follower is frowned upon. It's a crazy world.
That's a great point. Please stay with us on the line here. I want to continue the conversation here. Number one, remember President Trump was elected by a majority, and it's like 50.1%. It was a majority of the United States for the one specific reason of building the wall and controlling our issue of illegal migration in this country. We had almost 2 million legal migrants coming into the country, and we had anywhere from 10 to 20 million illegal migrants. And it's sort of a big middle finger to all the people who waited patiently and spent thousands of dollars working hard with their lawyers to try to come here legally, when these other 20 million just cut the line and said, screw you, and just stepped right over them. And God knows how many people from the communist Chinese snuck in. We have Middle Eastern terrorist types who snuck in. And I'm not just saying that, we know, because we've arrested dozens and dozens. And people say, oh, that's only dozens out of 20 million. Yet all you need is one. Only one person could cause a 9/11 to happen here. It's just antithetical to all things logical to make it shrug your shoulders at that. And just to remind everybody of the story you're talking about, ICE agents working in Roxbury arrested a criminal illegal alien from Honduras. Jesus Fabian Lopez Venegas illegally entered during the Biden administration and was eventually arrested and charged with drug trafficking, drug possession, and DUI in 2021. A judge ordered that he be deported, but because of the lax enforcement under the Biden administration, he remained. Well, federal agents say, as you mentioned so eloquently, that yesterday they tried to arrest him for removal. They just wanted to pick him up and say, okay, go. That's it. They just wanted to send him on his way. And Lopez Venegas tried to run over an ICE agent with his car. So the agent did what he is trained to do. He shot the tires, and that person, Venegas, was taken into ICE custody. The fact that anybody would be upset by that makes you scratch your head, considering 2 to 4 million illegals were removed under the Obama administration and not a word was uttered. 2.5 to 3 million were turned around at the border under the Biden administration, although they had 20 million more that came in. Not a word was uttered. But here, the Trump administration hasn't even removed 1 million, and you'd think that it's a stuck pig squealing for its life. It is unbelievable. But these are communist agitators who are working on the hippie leftist liberals in the state of New Jersey by agitating them online. So you have these 60-year-olds with 5 million in the bank. Their kids go to some elite school or work in Manhattan. They have a very comfortable life, and they just keep reading social media and getting pissed off at the world. And they hate Orange Man bad, no matter what he does. If he prevented a child from getting hit by a car or saved a baby from dying of cancer, these people would be out there protesting. You know it as well as me.
I sure do. Trump derangement syndrome is true, and it is a real thing for sure.
Yeah, it's unreal. And when you ask people, just take a breath, get the pink hair and the nose ring aside, take a deep breath, and tell me with logic and patience, what are we supposed to do when somebody is here illegally? And by the way, you wouldn't be allowed to be illegal in France. You wouldn't be allowed to be illegal in England. No. You wouldn't be allowed to be illegal in Honduras. No. Guess what? Mexico kicks people out who come across the border from Honduras. They kick them out and send them back to Honduras. Yes, people don't think about that. They think it only happens under Trump. No, Trump has had the least amount of deportations. And more people have self-deported than been deported. I don't know if you realize that.
Yes, I heard that. Plus, the other thing, too, is that it's not that we did not welcome people into our country. There's just a procedure that has to be followed. That's all we're saying. It's not that we don't want anyone in our country, but follow the rules.
We have 2 million people allowed to come in legally every year. And when you look at it as a ratio, Sue, versus other countries around the world, it is a higher ratio than any place on the planet. Do you think people are migrating into Muslim countries? No, they're leaving Muslim
No.
countries. They're leaving by the millions. Why? Why are people coming out of Muslim countries and going to places like England, France, even Italy? Why is that? You know, you have to scratch your head and wonder. You don't have a migration of Americans, even, and you have some gorgeous, I'm not criticizing. Look at United Arab Emirates. It's stunning. But what have they done? They've outpriced it for 99% of the planet. You can't afford to go there. Even Americans can't afford to go there. They want the elite of the elite. So they're basically telling anybody who doesn't have money, go to hell, get lost. And so the United Arab Emirates, UAE, is this exclusive place. Do you know that even Iran has an island that is in the Hormuz Strait that is super elite? That even for an American to go to this island, it is super expensive, and even we can't afford it. It's like $5,000 a day for a hotel, and it looks just like the UAE. But there are these places that
Wow.
people think, oh, only the U.S. No, what's happening is people from all around the world are leaving those countries. They're coming here for one reason. We have all the bennies. We're giving it all away. Germany, France, Italy, United States, England, giving it all away to anybody who comes because we've spent decades telling women, and I'm not saying women should not have a career, they should, but we've spent decades saying it's bad to stay home and be a mother and raise a family. So stop having babies and stop getting married. Our population has declined dramatically. And all of a sudden we're like, oh, the social security system is collapsing. Let's import the rest of the world. We don't tell women from Muslim nations to stay home and, or not to stay home rather, and have babies. They're welcome to stay home and have all the babies they want. But all the US born women, we tell go out and work and don't have kids. And this is the scenario now. So now you have Democrats in this country looking to raise the population of voters any way they can, and they open the floodgates. Sue, we always love you when you call. You call anytime.
Thanks, Ken. Have a great day.
You too. We appreciate you calling and always watching. So have a great one. Sue, oh my gosh, we love when Sue calls. And you're always welcome to call, by the way. You can give us a call at 888-658-0234 all day, all night, anytime you want, 888-658-0234. And as we round up the show here, we also invite you to write in. You can email us at any time. You can get me on Twitter. It's Ken Rosato TV at Twitter, so you can complain all you want. And that is on New Jersey Mornings for this Wednesday, February 11th. I'm Ken Rosato. Mike's going to have clouds leading to sun today. Enjoy the milder temperatures. See you again tomorrow, starting at 7 a.m. Have a great day.